ESPN Kansas City is KCTE Independence and K233DM Raytown, 1510 AM, 94.5 FM.
Sports is the one thing this guy is truly passionate about. So passionate that sometimes we just have to put this sports nut on a leash.
It's embarrassing for Mike Trout because he is such a great player and he deserves to be on a contending team. And let's be fair and honest here. The Angels are not a contending team. They're a turd. They're an absolute turd. And this is a turd-type move. I'm sorry. Move on from Trout. Give Mike Trout what he wants. And what he wants is to win. He wants to compete. He wants to contend. He doesn't want to be with you because your franchise sucks.
It's time for Radioactive Sports with Justin Pemberton on ESPN Kansas City. Tune in every Saturday morning as Justin gives his fascinating opinions and thoughts on the most interesting topics in sports, right here in Kansas City. Now the host himself, Justin Pemberton.
But let's start out the show with talking about Bruce Weber as we're getting ready to start the show here. Thanks for tuning in on Radioactive Sports. So let's talk about, and I did touch a little bit on this last week at the very end, and I didn't really have enough time as we were wrapping up the show to really give my full thoughts on Bruce Weber, but that's happening here right now. This was a gigantic mistake by Bruce Weber. And look, listen, this may get some criticism, okay? And I'm ready to take the beating on this, okay? I'm ready. If I was Bruce Weber, I probably would have sat Barry Brown. But let me just tell you this. It would have not been for 14 minutes. It would have been for maybe 2 minutes tops. Like, if I was willing to go further, maybe 4 minutes. 2 to 4 minutes at least. But then again, Barry Brown is a senior. He's a leader. He's one of the all-time greatest to ever come through Manhattan to play basketball at Kansas State. You need to be able to trust your guys if you're Bruce Weber. I think it's nonsense that Bruce Weber sat Barry Brown for 14 minutes. It cost K-State the game. Yeah, sure. You put other guys in there, they're supposed to step up. And you're in the biggest moment in your career, your lives. The tournament is huge. But you've got a senior point guard who is one of the greatest, again, to ever come through, to ever play for you, to ever play for the fans at Kansas State, to ever play at Bramlage Coliseum. And you sit him for 14 minutes. That's costly. And I will just say this. It is the biggest mistake. I think I said this last week too. If I did, I'll say it again. It is the biggest blunder. It is the biggest miscue. It is the biggest mistake in the entire coaching career of one Bruce Weber.
You know, I play hard, we kick their butt again.
We'll play a soundbite of Coach Weber here in a few moments. In his attempted thoughts, that's what I'm going to say here. He attempted, I put quotes around this, attempted to give his thoughts on that situation. I don't think he didn't quite make sense on it, but we'll play that here in a few moments. You'll hear that coming up. No, it's the biggest mistake in his career. Can any other K-State fan in the last 7 years, and I can name one time, and that was also in the tournament. It was in Kansas City at Sprint Center when they were playing LaSalle, and how funny, another 4-13 matchup. It was the closing moments of that game, and Bruce Weber just flat out choked. He flat out choked in those moments. And I thought he was starting to become a coach that was just never that was known to never be able to close out ball games. Other than that, there's really not been a time in the Bruce Weber era at Kansas State, or let me just throw it out there: do any other Illinois fans do they have a moment in their mind when Bruce Weber choked, when he absolutely messed up? Does any Illinois, Southern Illinois, because of the only two schools minus Kansas State that he's coached in his career, do those fan bases have a moment in their mind when Bruce Weber choked, messed up, made a mistake, however you want to put it? Because that's the only moment I have was when the final moments, and Bruce Weber, there's no excuses. I mean, I don't care, honestly, what the guy had to say after the game or before the game or his halftime before he went into the locker room. With the reporter for was it TBS? The game was on TBS. Yeah, it was TBS. Before the reporter on the sideline going into halftime. Oh, we're fine. We'll be fine. Barry Brown. We had some troubles, but we'll be fine. It's like you're playing to lose, Bruce. And you know what? There it is right there. I think Bruce Weber sitting Barry Brown was playing to lose. And now let's talk about that foul real quick. That foul, looking back at that foul, it did look a little bit cheesy. It looked a little weak. And that's no surprise. I mean, officials, well, suck. let's call a spade on that. It was a weak call. And Brown should have known better, but no, as a coach, you should know better to not sit one of your most important players in the most important time of the year. I'm sorry, I'm not going to be for Bruce Weber. And speaking of Bruce, let's do play real quick. His attempted, as I say it again, his attempted thoughts on sitting Barry Brown for 14 minutes in that loss to UC Irvine.
You know, I and you guys have asked before, you know, if we're winning, I'm going to leave them in, and we were winning. And I got close. Barry wanted to go in. He started running to the bench. I put Cardi in. We made a play. We were up 3. They make the big shot at the end of the half. Obviously, that's when it comes down to it. It's a big play to get going, get them some momentum going in at halftime. But I thought, if anything, Dick Barry would be fresh coming in the second half, because he's logged a lot of minutes over this season and over his career, the most ever, right? Or pretty close, yeah.
What was that? Can he just come out and just say, I messed up? I messed up? That's my attempted impression of Bruce Weber. That just makes no sense. You thought Barry Brown would be fresh? Listen, I get it. I get where he's coming from. I'm sorry, it makes no sense. I can't agree. It's not my cup of tea. No. That's a bitter disappointment for Kansas State. Even a week or so later after that game, wow. I'm still trying to figure out how they lost that game. Like, minus Barry Brown sitting for 14 minutes. And again, the shooting, it came back to bite them yet again. But no, I can't agree with Weber's comments there. I can't. I get you think that Brown will be fresh, ready to go because he's, well, a senior. But, again, you have to learn to trust your guys. What? Are you going to sit Dean Wade, too? If he had 2 fouls, are you going to do that, too? And that's the thing. Dean Wade, who was probably the best player on that team, was done for the year. In a walking boot, in a cast. Barry Brown is your best player on that team without Dean Wade. I'm sorry. It's insane. It's stupid to do. I think overall, no, you don't sit your best player. But if you're going to do it, you do it for a couple minutes tops. You don't do it for 14 minutes. I'm sorry. That's not how it works. That's not how you get it done. That's not how you win games. And I'm sorry, you played to lose the game. As the opposite of what Herm Edwards would say, instead of playing to win the game, you're playing to lose the game.
You play to win the game.
That's what Weber was doing. He was playing to lose the game. That's what he did. Just a bitter ending for Kansas State. I feel sorry for all Cats fans. You know what? If there were any K-State fans out there that picked UC Irvine, you're smart. You're smarter than I am because I thought the Cats were bound for the Sweet 16 to lose to Virginia. Crazy. But that's how the tournament goes. That's the name of March Madness. He just did not know what to expect. And you know what? I'll save it for next year when we go back to the March Madness again next year. Wow, bitter ending for K-State. And again, Weber, you know what? I think this brings back the topsy-turviness of the fans with Bruce Weber. I think this opened up another can of worms with the fan base. I think the fans should be furious with Weber again. He didn't settle things down with the fan base. I think there still is some outrage between the fan base and Bruce Weber. I thought for a moment after of course they captured the outright, I thought so, but nope. That has opened back up. I'm convinced it's the war between Bruce Weber and the fan base is back. It was gone for about a week or so, but it's back because of that one little mistake. And again, to close it out, it's the biggest mistake of his career. No question about it.
You've been listening to Radioactive Sports with Justin Pemberton.
You guys want to hear my only Lucas Duda point really quick?
I'll mark it too if I have to.
Great, you will. I think as far as getting a first baseman to kind of just hold it down for the year, I think Lucas will do the job.
There you go. Just waiting for that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh my!
Yes.
Don't encourage him.
Yeah, it's too late. I tweeted that out earlier today. It didn't get nearly enough love at JB Briscoe.
Yeah.
So I'm playing the hits today, man. I really am. I'm playing the hits.
And then Pat and I, we will.
As long as he doesn't have to throw home.
Don't.
We're good.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's a good joke. Don't interrupt Justin. It's his show. Damn it.
I like to interrupt.
Watch your mouth.
The people that host.
Watch your mouth, Charlie.
Josh, I will come across that
Charles
desk right now.
Darcy Carlin. I'll smack you.
What's your middle name?
Bradley.
On ESPN Kansas City, 1510 AM, 94.5 FM, and 1510.com.
Bye-bye. ESPN Kansas City is KCTE Independence and K233 DM Raytown, 1510 AM, 94.5 FM.